Welcome back to the Humble Market Timer YouTube channel. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Now today's video will be on the company Webull, ticker symbol BULL. Is it ready for another bull run? Before I move any further, let me show you my disclaimer. Again, these are my ideas, not investment advice. Now, Webull they went public recently, about 2 weeks ago, as part of a special acquisitions company via SPAC, as they call it. And it had a resounding opening. It initially came out and flew up to $17, and then it pulled back quite a bit on that first day. But then on the next day, it accelerated even higher, and it went all the way to $79. And like any stock, no stock goes straight up. So it was bound to have a pullback. And it has continued to slide since that huge opening when it first IPO'd. Part of the reason for that pullback to help bring it down was this information that was released, which stated that there were some fears that Webull may be sharing information of some of their people who utilize their platform. And so several U.S. lawmakers were putting pressure and asking for the SEC to probe Webull because of potential security violations or privacy violations. So as a result, the stock has come down quite a bit, and it has worked its way down to about $17 as we speak today. Now, just fundamentally looking at Webull, Webull is a digital trading platform very similar to Robinhood. Webull's market cap currently is about $8 billion, and Robinhood's market cap is about $44 billion. So that, Robinhood has a little bit more than 5 times the market cap of Webull right now. However, looking at the 2024 revenue, Webull's revenue is just under $400 million, but Robinhood's revenue is about $3 billion. So that's about 7.5 times. Robinhood is about 7.5 times the revenue of Webull. So as you can see right now, based on just revenue, looking at price to sales, Webull really has a higher valuation right now than a Robinhood. And fundamentally, I don't think that makes a lot of sense if you also consider the fact that Webull, the last 2 years, the revenue has remained fairly stagnant and hasn't really changed much. However, Robinhood in the last year, their revenue has increased by 58%. So I don't think at this current stage Webull should have a valuation richer than Robinhood from a standpoint of price to sales ratio. So I do believe that Webull will probably come down a little bit more, getting back to that $10 to $12 dollar range, simply because it has not yet proven to be the company that Robinhood is, as well as the negative aspects that we have going on with the tariffs and our issues with China. When you put out a headline where the lawmakers are asking for them to probe the company, that isn't good. However, in the short term, you can see that there was a pretty big gap up from when the stock first IPO'd to the next day when it had its massive run. And what has happened in the last 2 weeks is that we have almost filled the gap from that big spike to where we are now, which was close to where it first opened during the IPO, the first day it opened during the IPO. We haven't quite completely filled the gap, but we're pretty close. It needs to get into that mid 16s. It almost hit that on Friday, but didn't quite hit it, but we're pretty close. When you have that gap fill, there tends to be several buyers lined up for support. A lot of traders come in and they will support that price, and there can be a substantial bounce that can occur because you have all this selling, and part of this selling is a lot of short selling as well. So they may be looking to cover as well in that area, in that mid 16 area. And we are about at that point now. So in the short term, I'm looking for Webull to have a pretty good pop in the next day or two, because we are close, or we're about to fill that gap, or we will fill that gap. So I'm expecting a bounce in the short term to maybe in that $20 to $25 range. However, I don't think it will be sustained, and we will continue to trade lower with Webull until they can get the privacy issues behind them and also show some revenue growth that some of the other digital trading platforms have shown. So keep an eye on Webull. I think in the short term, you might be able to see quite a pop and be able to make a few dollars trading. But in the long term, I don't think it's quite ready yet to be an investment. Once again, if you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good day.